as kids, you want your parents so involved in everything you're doing and stuff, but in terms of showing interest, or especially, you know, moms, as moms do, my mom show interest in everything you're doing, sort of thing. Like,
I'll be real with you, at home, my parents weren't as like, they weren't like visually romantic, but you could tell that they're romantic anyway because they had 5 kids. So it's crazy.
People have left their entire life in another country to come here to set up shop for you, your siblings, and it's like they want to make sure that you have something solid
that they can,
behind you. As they always say, what happens if you break your leg tomorrow?
Yeah.
Football done. So, Anafi, was your dad a narcissist?
This episode's word of the day, this episode's devotion, as we call it. The wounds left by a broken or absent father can shape the way we lead, love, and even raise our own children. Many men unknowingly repeat the cycles of emotional distance, anger, or neglect they experience, but in Christ, we are not bound by our past. That's very, 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 very touching.
It's even like when people say, you know, from, you know, romantic relationship to relationship, don't bring in baggage from that last relationship, and make sure you heal and stuff like that. And, you know, that's exactly it when it's being parents and, you know, being leaders in your house. Like, you want to copy the good things. You don't want to copy things that didn't work, or start reflecting things that didn't work. Otherwise, you'll get same, maybe negative results that you once saw happen in your household.
And I 100% agree with that. There's many people that have past traumas and they go out and inflict on other people, and it also mentally cripples people as well. Like, you look at a lot of stuff that comes out in the news and you hear that, oh, this person's done this, and they go look back in their career and be like, their background has obviously shaped the way they are. So yeah, man, it's very important, man. Very important to, you know, be present and, you know, try not to be absent as well. So yeah. But yeah, man, episode 2 of the Dadicated podcast. Last episode was great, man.
Great big up everyone that listened. Appreciate all the feedback. Hopefully these keep coming quick, fast to you guys. But yeah,
had a few great responses as well.
Good.
People hit me up, told me that they love it, they want to see much more. Say they're looking forward to our guests.
Yes.
I don't know if there's, you know.
I mean, they're coming. The guests are coming. You know, you guys need to learn about us. And know our story.
Get to know us more.
Set the scene. That's what we want to kind of do first, and then we'll kind of, you know, start filtering the guests in here. So for sure.
I'm Anafi.
Mex.
And there's the topic that we're going through today is basically about the father's wound. Going into like see how fathers are and see how it impacted us as, you know, individuals.
We're burying our dads on today's show.
Basically.
All the bad stuff that they did to us, all the floggings and everything. We're letting the world know. But it's I think it's more so about, you know, just unpacking that. What was our childhood like? I think
that's the best way to start. What was childhood like?
Well, I can't complain. You know, my parents worked to give me and my siblings as much as they could. Everything they could. Very dedicated parents. To some extent, I don't know if, as kids, you want your parents so involved in everything you're doing and stuff, but in terms of showing interest, or especially, you know, moms, as moms do, my mom show interest in everything you're doing, sort of thing. Like, you know, actively trying to take time off work to come and do this at school, watch you do this, or whatever the case is. Had a good childhood, and I guess from a dad's side, which we'll get into on the show, that very much African dad. I've come here, I'm having children, I need to make sure all my children are right. Tough love sort of thing, but love nonetheless. So as a starting point, I cannot complain about my childhood. What about you?
Yeah, no, likewise, man. I can't complain about my childhood either. Like, my parents always were there for me. They're very God-fearing. They raised us right. They had, obviously, one thing they taught me was respect. Always respecting people and respecting the elders and whatnot. And just that whole thing of respect is very important to them. So they taught me that. Just raised us right. God-fearing. They made me see things that I wouldn't see on a normal day. For example, like that whole thing of like your mum saying, "Don't go to this place because this could happen." She was always right. Yeah. Always right. Always right. Something I'll get a call. Oh, these man rolled through after the rape.
Yeah.
So that as well. So yeah, man, it's good upbringing. And my parents always worked so hard to give us what we need. Like, imagine, like, there's 5 boys in the house. At the time there was 3 of us. I remember there was a time where everyone wanted a PlayStation.
Each?
And no, everyone in I was at school. Everyone had a PlayStation.
Everyone. I thought you meant in your house. No. Everyone wanted their own PlayStation. I said, how?
Bro, everyone had a PlayStation. So my mom was like, let me get you guys a PlayStation. And I don't know where she got the money from. And I'm sure times there were different. She got us a PlayStation, So it's, she always looked after us in that aspect. So yeah, even NAC Air, you remember NAC Air Riffs?
Yeah.
On my first trip to Ghana, she bought us all NAC Air Riffs. And I'm like,
that's mad.
As a kid, you wouldn't think where the mom get this money from, but now looking back at it, Air's probably like £90 at the time.
Yeah.
So that's £90 for 4 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, so big up mums and dads, man. So yeah, I had a good upbringing, man.
Okay, and what about your dad in terms of how he raised and contributed to raising 5 boys?
My dad played a big part. Like, obviously there was times where there'll be tough love or him just like, just taking out his anger on us or something at work or that thing, but it's all for the greater cause. Like, we had this thing in my old area, like, so we had so where the kitchen faced towards the car park. So we'll be chilling, one of us will be in the kitchen, we'll hear dad's car pull up. And we know the engine, we know the jingle of the keys, so one of us will be cleaning up the house.
Yeah.
And if my dad comes home from work, the first thing he'll say is, ah. Come on. You know that African, like,
oh my
I don't know, as Ghanaians probably know, but I'm sure it's the same in Nigeria as well, that ah. You guys have been home the whole day, you haven't cleaned the house? And then we have to like clean up the house and stuff. So that as well, like, it's good because it's keeping us like on our toes.
Yeah.
And I feel like as kids, we should always be on our toes and always try to do the best that we can do in it because, home training, great home training. My dad also had a fun side to him. Like, I remember there was times where like he'll do like he'll be fun. Like, for example, like he bought a monkey mask. I remember at night he'll turn off the lights and we'll have to find him in the house, and after he'll just scare us like that. And it's cool. Stuff like that's fun. Obviously, like, probably like gave me trauma and stuff, but it's fun. It was fun. My older brother was always one that always found him in it. So, and even just down to like his personal likes, like wrestling. If it wasn't for my dad, I would not know wrestling.
Going to wrestling?
I wouldn't have gone to wrestling one bit.
Likewise.
He bust me in all those WCW tapes, WWE tapes. Only thing he didn't watch is ECW. But all the other stuff, like, he literally just said, come watch this with me. Fried yam. Like I said on the podcast, people used to laugh at me. Fried yam with the maku, with the pepper and the corned beef or the sardines, and we just watch it and just eat. So yeah, man, it was cool. Like, obviously, like, you can, as a parent, like, now, you probably look at them and be like, oh, I wouldn't have done it this way. But then again, I'm like, I don't think there was even a time where I said to myself, I hate this. No, never like that. Never like that. It's just tough love. And with the tough love, shaped me as a better person, and he shows me more love now. So,
this is it. I feel like my dad and my relationship really began to blossom as an adult. As I mentioned, I think on a previous podcast episode, you go through the school line, primary, secondary, university, you get a job. Obviously, in our situation, you've gone on to marry, you have kids. When I came out of uni and had a job, although it still wasn't the job that demands you going to uni for. Yeah. Like, I came out of uni, I was doing retail for maybe just under a year before I got an actual job. But I had been through the process.
Yeah.
And I had a different dad. This wasn't the man before that had raised me for the first 20 something years. It's almost like, you come back and you sit in a chair and like, like, I've got one through. Like, my job here is done, sort of thing. Like, just a different human being. Like we could talk and, you know, talk about other stuff that you wouldn't talk about as a younger person or whatever. Yeah, it was just a different guy altogether. Like, because I guess it's very much that feeling of, you know, I've got this person across the line. Like my job here is done, sort of thing. Even though, you know, you probably argue your job as a dad is never.
It's really never done. But my dad's always said, my job on this planet is never done until I leave this planet. When I'm gone, even when I'm gone, I'm still looking over you. Still looking over you. Like it's not. It doesn't end there.
Yeah,
we're bound for life, man.
Did you have a different relationship with your dad, like after school or after marriage or anything?
So I think it's weird because, like, secondary school, I was always my mom and dad always say, "Oh, you're like the girl of the house," because I used to cook, clean, I used to all that shit.
I was the house girl.
Trust me, fam, just cooking and cleaning and not so. My dad would be like, "Oh, you're the guy at the house, whatever." But when I went to university and I come back, my dad said, "Oh, look, you changed." Why he didn't? So my dad tried to become a bit more overprotected over me. Like, even with me getting the missus as well, like it was a struggle because I'm like having to like present this woman that I'm trying to marry as to my parents, be like, "Mom, this is the girl I'm trying to marry, you know, work with me." Work with me at least, man. And it's like that was a bit of a struggle, especially as she's Caribbean. Our parents obviously wanted someone that's from Ghana, but it's hard. We live in such a big multicultural.
We're going to talk about this because this is a whole episode in itself. We're going to talk about
this. It's tight, man. But yeah,
go
on. What was I saying? So like I think when I went to university, after my dad became a bit more overprotective, we started to clash a lot. I remember there was one day in the kitchen. I'll never forget this day in my life. My dad actually told me to get out of the house. Like I looked at his face and said, kick rocks. Like he was like, I come out from university, I was washing plates, I've come back, just washing plates and that sort of stuff. I had a meal, wash plates. And he was like to me, something about advice. And I said, I don't need your advice. He said, what?
You're mad.
I said, I don't need your advice. He goes, what do you mean you don't need my advice? Are you okay? I was like, oh.
Wait. Because to be honest, that is something I could say to my dad, but the way you're telling the story, did it escalate? Yeah. Or then you said it?
No, so he's saying something about...
You said it from the jump?
He was advising back. He goes, you should not be... I think it's something about me coming back and forth too much. I was like, Dad, I need to get my hair cut. I need to go and see this. I need to go see that. And he goes, he said, I said to him, I don't need your advice. And he flipped out on me, bro. And I deeped in. I was like, why did I say that? That's not cool, man.
Yeah, that's not
cool, bro. And I was now that I think about it, I was like, bro, if my older son said that to me, I can't lie. What do you mean? Fam, just like, what do you mean you don't need my advice? But yeah, I said that and I felt like an idiot after and apologized and whatnot. But as my dad's gotten older and I've got kids now, my dad's just like very relaxed.
Yeah.
And my kids will be doing stuff like they'll be holding something or jumping down, or my dad not told them off. He goes, I let them have fun, the kids. I'm like, bro, back in the day you would have flogged me. But it's just nice to see them go through this part of the evolution where it's like, it's part of stage of life where they just calm and relax and just allow kids to do what they do. You know, they're like the forefathers. They're forefathers now, innit?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you talk about obviously your dad and when you get into a relationship and stuff. So, when I think this was 2015 or so, I was planning to move out, and I think Rosie was at home, and the way like her setup was at home and stuff as well. She didn't need to move out, but she thought, well, you know, if you're gonna move out, I'll move out, sort of things. Put our money towards this together, and I told my mum, like, okay, I'm gonna move out. I'm gonna live with Rosie. And my mum was very much like, you know, we don't move out with people until we're married.
Yeah.
Like I'm not condoning this. I'm not happy with this. And it's I guess obviously their upbringing and maybe what they were told, and I guess they have their reasons as well if they're kind of thinking with, you know, a Christian head. Like, why are you here living with a woman that you're not married to, whatever the case is. Nothing against Rosie. They had a relationship. They knew each other by this point, innit? But it's just, no, you're not doing that sort of thing. Yeah. I crashed out completely. I left the house. I was just like vexed. Like I remember I just went around sitting in the park for ages, just blood boiling and everything like that. And I deeped it, and not in a disrespectful way, but I thought, to be honest, I went back home and I said to my mom, if I went and just moved out to somewhere and then every day you come to my house to see me and Rosie was here, how would you feel?
Yeah.
Like I'm being honest, this is what I'm doing sort of thing. And I think at the time I was pretty much like, you can't stop me, innit?
Yeah.
Like this is what I'm gonna do.
But let's be honest, there comes a point in time where as an adult or as someone that lives on house where you can't stop your kid from doing certain things.
Yeah.
Obviously, unless they want to become a murderer or do something crazy or deal into drugs, but you can't stop them from marrying this. But like, obviously, they won't give you a blessing, but they'll still do it,
they have to think. And like I said, I understood why she was saying it, but it's like, this is what I want to do sort of thing. So I remember I then went to my dad and I'm just like, I'm moving out. I'm moving in with Rosie, or we're going to go find a place or whatever. And as my dad does, he mulled on it before he came back to me, and he said to me like, listen, I don't agree with this and living with a woman beforehand and this, that, and the other, but you're a man. You've come to me as a man and you've told me what you want to do. I'm not agreeing with it, but if that's what you guys want to go and do,
run it.
Cool. Like, I appreciate you kind of telling me sort of thing. And even that's like a whole level of respect unlocked because it's like, like he understands it, at least from a male point of view. Like, you know, I guess as for them, their biggest worry is that, oh, you guys are just going to be knacking and having kids.
Slagging and bagging.
So, I mean, that's deep down, as well as obviously any other Christian point of view. That's probably the main thing they're thinking of as well. But it's ultimately like, this is what I wanted to do. And you have to get on with the plan, innit? You see what I mean? And of course they're thinking as well, like, oh, what are your siblings gonna do? Your siblings are gonna see you do this and they want to follow suit or whatever the case is. But boy, I went ahead and I guess it worked out because my dad had a property that he was like, well, you can just go and live here, sort of thing, innit? Like, and we paid him like a bit of rent, sort of thing. So it worked out for all parties, innit? But yeah, like, other than that, I feel like my adult relationship with my parents, my dad, has been very good. What about something that you would say you didn't get on with your dad with, or your dad maybe didn't manage very well as a child? Like, what kind of scars do you have to heal from?
I think career-wise, like, but then again, it opened, like, it worked out for me. So I want to play football. Like, there came a point in time where, like, I was taking the football thing seriously. I was watching the World Cup. I remember was it World Cup? I was watching Euro 2024, and I was like to myself, I need to be on that stage, bro. I need to get there. I need to play for England one day. And what took it to another level was, I think it was World Cup 2026. It was Ghana's first World Cup. So I was like, I want to play for Ghana now. This is it. Like, I'm looking at people like Asamoah Gyan, John Painstill, Stephen Appiah, Michael Essien. I'm like, yo, I need to be on this level one day, man. I mean, even went to Ghana like 2 years after, and I bought a Ghana jersey. I was like, I need to, when I go to the park, I want to play this good. I want to feel it. I want to feel good. And after, when I got to year 11, this is when I was like, actually, forget all that World Cup stuff. I actually want to be a football player. And presented it to my dad, and my dad's like, no. Like, and another thing as well, that obviously with Obama becoming the president of America, United States in 2028, it really skewed a lot of parents, and a lot of parents were like, if Obama can do it, my son can do it too. So, you know what happened next? Went to college, studied government politics, looked at economics and stuff, dead. And obviously film came in, and when I started doing film, not that they didn't agree with it, but they were like, what is this? It's a new thing. And at that time, there was no such thing as influencers. Obviously, there was influencers, but on like another grander stage, there was influencers.
Like TV
people. Personnel and people and that, presenters and that. But there wasn't that influencer sort of thing. So me telling my dad that I want to become a filmmaker or a director or someone that works in TV, he's looking at me like, what? What's that going to do for you? Like, it's nothing. Like, leave that to them. Like, study this and stuff. So as time went on and I was winning awards in college, working on parts, like, I collaborated with Apple for like 1 year where I had to do all my work on the iPad. And when I presented to my dad, I was like, oh, this is actually sick. For them, me opening my own production company and doing different platforms here and there, like, he kind of saw it and kind of thought, it's cool. But at the same time, I was also trying to build my little brothers up. So 3 of my little brothers, I was taking the football training all the time. Cause I was like, if I don't live this dream, someone in the house
someone's
got to live this dream, bro. Someone's got to lift up that World Cup one day, man. Honestly, and with that being happening, like I remember there was one day, like I told my mum I'm taking football training. I'm like, no, like it's like they were like, you know what, it's done. Like we don't want to do this no more. And I think there was even one try at Southend he had, and I was like, I can't make it because I got to be at uni. I was like, no, we can't make it either. So who's gonna make it? So I had to just say, I'm coming. So it's just like, you know, just I think for us parents and my parents, it was more of like, it's like a show and tell, like a tell and show. So you tell them first, then you show it. So that's kind of like we kind of moved the whole time. And I wish I did that when I dropped in the football thing. Like I wish I just done it. I wish I showed him first, then I told him after, like, sign up, just forget it. But then again, I needed my mom's signature. But I wish I just showed him, maybe if I had a camera and I showed him how I could do 10 kick-outs. Yeah. But it's hard, man. Was that anything you?
I think around football as well was probably one of my biggest.
And that's the same career you wanted to follow as well,
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So obviously, you know, for a lot of boys that you grow up in your estate or wherever playing football in school, and I was playing football, and at 14, I believe I had a trial at 14 for Charlton. And we were keeping it secretive somewhat. Like, you know, I was playing football on the weekends, which he knew about. But anything more than that is, why are you giving this so much time? Go and read your book, you know? So I think the trial was on a weekday. It was like on a Wednesday after school or something like that. And me and my mom tried to sneak out the house. My mom tried to sneak me out the house so she can take me or whatever the case is. I don't know where she told my dad that we were going. But then he clocked, like, what's going on? You're going to play football on a weekday. What's going on? Yeah. She explained this trial. This is their thing. I'm taking him down to South London. You know, at the time we're living in Tottenham. So South London is north. That's other opposites. You need a passport to go there. Yeah. Like, so it just didn't make sense to him. Why? What's this? Why can't you do this on a weekend? So the trial is now. The trial is this evening. You're not going. Fuck, man. And my mom tried to kind of argue it, fight it. She said, no one's going anywhere, sort of thing. And to be honest, I think that's probably like one of the pivotal kind of breakdown points. Just like, this guy just doesn't want me to succeed. Be great, man. Doesn't want me to be great. Now, I won't obviously put it all on him, because if I was that good, I would have probably made it anyhow. So I'm not going to put it down. But that opportunity, you didn't let me go and do, sort of thing. And I think that was a breakdown. And I think it's very much, you know, and I feel like you probably get it now as you're older. These people have left their entire life in another country to come here to set up shop for you, your siblings. And it's like, they want to make sure that you have something solid
that they can,
behind you. As they always say, what happens if you break your leg tomorrow? Football done. So I hear it, but it's like, you have to kind of
take the risk. The same way you take. I say this. My dad always said to me, when I came down to London, I came into London with a suitcase with one trouser, t-shirt, and one pair of boxers. And I've got a family. Now I've got a family full of 7 of us. There's 7 of us in this house. I've got a big house. I've got houses in Ghana. I've got houses in this place. Like, you took the risk. Why can't I take the risk?
Yeah.
You took the risk of coming here and setting up shop and getting a job and buying a car. Like, let me take the risk as well.
Maybe it's that thing, and maybe one day we're gonna encounter it as parents of, you know, your child wants to do something and you're not sure about it. You're not sure you should let them do it, but it, you know, it's the same grief. I wanted to do football, as a no. You know, when my brother really started concentrating on music, it was a no. My sister with drama and stuff like that, it was a no.
But what helps is that you're the older brother that can be, like, for example, that the cloud that can basically protect these and say, you know, I'll do it then. I'll help him out. Like, for example, there's certain things I used to do back in the day where, like, I'll write an email, I want to do something, but my brother will come and be that cloud for me and say, let me stay here, let me help you out. Or even for me, like, my younger brothers take them training or take them this place or buy them clothes that my parents wouldn't want to buy them. So I'll be that. So it's weird, as the older brother, then you become that.
That's what it became. Like, when my sister wanted to go to drama school, it's like she didn't want to, I think she had said to my mom she's going to take a break, a year break out from college to go into uni. But it's like, okay, so what are you going to do then, sort of thing. And then, well, obviously the drama school bill came with a bill, like a relatively big bill, because they don't want everyone to just walk into drama school.
Yeah, of course, you got to pay.
when I helped to support paying that sort of thing, and then obviously she landed her job, it's like, oh, like this is brilliant sort of thing. But I don't know. I actually genuinely don't know if she actually ever asked them for it and they said no. But it's like she didn't maybe feel she could ask you for it.
Feel comfortable with asking, yeah, because she probably knew the answer.
Yeah, so she came to myself and my brother, and we supported him on his music journey and as well. And it's like I've always felt like I'm the dad of the, like I always say that my siblings are like my first kids. They're literally like my first kids before because it's like I know there was a period there you're all just kind of unfortunately like living in fear a bit of like you know you're like
what's mom and dad gonna say,
what they're gonna say, or you know what they're gonna do if I do this or whatever the case is. So it's difficult, but now you get it somewhat, you know, you understand like the risks attached with coming from somewhere else and making sure you do things right, you know.
Absolutely. I've always said my older brother is like my second dad. For sure.
Yeah.
Second dad for sure. Like, and it's even weird when I tell you I've got an older brother. People are like, you got an older brother? I can't believe it. Like, you know, like you're the oldest. Like, I was telling Laps, and it's like, you know, like you're the oldest. And I'm like, bro, because I've learned from him, and I'm just passing it down to my little brothers.
Yeah, because you behave in a mature way that people will give off that. This is the oldest of his siblings, sort of thing.
Yeah. Do you feel like you need to heal from your father's, not say wrongdoings, but the stuff that your father's done?
Heal might be a bit strong in my case.
That's like really like, god damn.
I think he was tough, but he was never like overly unfair. I wouldn't say, apart from, like I said, not letting me just go to, you know, there's one-off instances here and there, but like now, like I say, you can understand the rationale and all of that kind of stuff behind it. I think it's if anything I do need to heal from, it's being that kind of pragmatic person.
Yeah.
Maybe being a bit more of an optimistic person, and you know, okay, right, let's try this, let's take risks and all of that kind of stuff. My dad is probably someone that, although he was very good with money, he probably wasn't as career driven as he should have been, because he's probably thinking, well, I've got a nice little setup here at work. I don't need to do too much. I get my X pay, whatever that is, every month, and I can manage my family, do business, you know, set up homes and our house back in Nigeria, whatever the case is. And, you know, sometimes when you're jumping around job to job, that might come with risk that, you know, if you get made redundant over there, then you have to start again or whatever the case is. So I think, to be honest, is one of the major wounds is like just being a bit more out there. Don't think so much, take action. But be optimistic. Don't always like ask, if someone tells you something's going to happen or the opportunity of this has come up, don't be negative, and, you know, oh, but how? And ask questions, ask questions, of course, to be sure, but, you know, don't be scared almost. Like, take the opportunity. What about you?
I don't think there's anything I need to heal from, man. I think within time I healed from it. Like, if it was a thing where, like, when I wasn't allowed to play football, I tried to move on to the next thing. Just find the next thing to do.
You didn't hold a grudge or anything?
No, because what happened after was so quick, and it like, for example, when I did the football thing, like I was left with going to a college in West London, and in the college, like I went there and I picked these subjects, and after I was like, I actually don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to do this. It doesn't feel like it doesn't feel right. Because I'm not really that. It's gonna sound crazy, but hear these words carefully. I'm not really that I don't think that intellectually all the time like that about government and politics and all this economics. I'm not that I'm stupid, but it's not my bag. So when I went to this career advisor, he said to me, "Oh, what do you like doing?" I was like, "Internet. I like going on the internet. I like watching TV, like playing PlayStation. Go study media then." So like that it was so quick that the football thing just left my head. And I was like, cool. With that being the new thing I want to work on, I'm sure I can combine film or media studies and football together. And that's why I made this YouTube channel called Scout, where I was filming people in my area and other people just to create like a portfolio for them.
Yeah.
And after they'll go around and play football and whatnot, and just try and get them scouted, try and get them on these clubs' maps and stuff. So I remember we had talks with like Arsenal, Crystal Palace was one of them, and some other team as well. And our camera broke, and we're fucked. we were done. So I remember it was me and my Wale that was doing it. Then from there, like obviously filming up came up, and I just always tried to include football back in my career, like football back in what I'm doing. So that's when we came up with Beatties and kind of spearheaded that, and Beatties turned out to be what it is, and that was great. And the next thing I was like, I'm done with football now. Wrestling's wrestling's. So it's like I always try to include what I love into film, and there was even before wrestling, me and Ria was doing like a flipping food blog.
I swear.
It was gonna be a food blog, bro. We was gonna go around to all these places, try food, and rate it out of 10. Basically, like Keith Fleeting.
Yeah.
The thing's there. We even have the logo and everything there, bro. It's called Food Diaries. That was gonna call it Food Diaries and stuff. And obviously, we didn't push through that because obviously we had other stuff planning on and that. But yeah, it's just it happened so fast that I was able to heal fast. Yeah, and I was like, maybe this is what God wants me to do. Maybe this is my purpose to work in media and work in film and create cool stuff. So. And hopefully one day my little brothers can lift the cup for us. So
yeah. So it's still in your family, innit?
Yeah.
Like, football is still in your family.
Yeah.
It's not yourself, but you still kind of got that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just one of those things where is there any traits that you wouldn't want, like your dad had, that you don't want to kind of carry into like your life or your parenting?
I think it's more like, allowing them to do what they want to do, and that's career-wise. So if my son wanted to become, like I was thinking to my missus over there, I was like, what if our two boys become rappers? How do you feel about it? She goes, no. I was like, no, don't say that. Because you never know. They can be one of the greatest rappers ever. They can be better than the Tupac. They can be better than the Kendrick. Can be better than the Drake. Can be better than the Jay-Z. You never know.
Yeah.
Like if we funnel that much energy towards them, they can make us big bucks. They can look after us in the future for music, and they can even go down rapping and somehow end up as a producer. Obviously not on like crazy like we're kind of wrestling spot, like great beats and stuff. So I think that just allowing them to do what they want to do, if they want to become artists or want to become something else, because I feel like in this day and age with where society is right now, you can make money from anything.
Yeah.
Anything,
100%.
bro. Anything, like as long as you're good at it, as long as you present it well, like as long as the Americans love it. That's what I would say. As long as Americans love it, you're making a buck, bro. So I think it's mainly that. What about you?
Yeah, I wouldn't stop my child from, career-wise. I'm pretty open. Obviously, there are some careers which I would steer them away from, without having to name anything. But yeah, one of I guess things I enjoyed the most at my wedding day, my brother, my best man, done a speech where he was like, the thing he loves about me the most is that you can tell Mex that I want to be an egg.
And he'll make it to
and Mex will ask you, do you want to be Tesco egg, Sainsbury's egg, as the egg? Like we're gonna make it happen, basically, and I'm not here to shoot down any dreams. And I think through having dreams being shot down by, our parents that may have come from abroad and didn't necessarily understand the lay of the land. Now we're not living in that age, and we're in very much information's everywhere, Google, ChatGPT, whatever. Yeah. Like, so you could almost do the research to see, is there a viable way of doing X that your child wants to do, and get support and, find all these things out there. So no, I'm pretty open to them, doing everything. Yeah. You I guess you're supposed to, at this age, they go through a lot of stuff. My parents made us all do piano.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, we all done piano in our house. So up to now, it's completely perplexing to me that you had an issue with my brother becoming a producer. Beats. You put us in front of a piano.
And this is the same I had with wrestling. So when someone tells us to be one of the greatest wrestlers on this planet, better than Ken Omega, better than Kurt Angle, you know the reason why? Because I put him on wrestling.
Yeah.
So we've spoken about how we can heal from, stuff that our father's done. But the question I want to ask you is this. There's this thing floating around, a word that floats around here. I don't think I've actually got like a pinpoint definition of it. Maybe you can find it for me, but this word narcissist. A lot of people will say my dad was a narcissist, my boyfriend was a narcissist, my ex was a narcissist. What's the definition of a narcissist?
Right. So a narcissist is someone with an excessive sense of self-importance, a deep need for admiration, and a lack of empathy for others. They often seek validation, manipulate situations to their advantage, and struggle with criticism.
So people throwing that around on people on Twitter, like for example, they'll be like, they don't know this person, but they call the person a narcissist.
Because I guess the way they behave
is one of those traits.
Higher than, yeah. They want to be at the center of everything, seek validation from people. Yeah. So, Anafi, was your dad a narcissist?
Hell no. Hell no. My dad was like, he was like, he's always took, I always uses, always like saw the importance of his kids in it and how, you know, we can all uplift each other and whatnot. I remember he used to always show us the Jackson 5. Obviously, Michael Jackson's dad, forget Michael Jackson's dad, but he used to show us the Jackson 5 and show how these guys used to dance together, do things together. He always say, oh, why don't you guys open a business together? Like, he's always trying to, like, you know, it was nothing about him. It was more to himself, like, you know.
Who was your dad in his community or in like his friendship circle?
So my dad was one of the eldest in his brothers and sisters. So my dad like knew a lot of the Ghanaian men's community, collective of men's community or whatever. But after a while, he kind of like dropped off and just didn't want to chill them no more. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Maybe he'll tell us some of the line, but he was always that. Was your dad the same thing as well? Was he part of like the? Do you have like a? Was there like a Nigerian working man's club? Because I thought that there was something like that my dad used to go to.
So I wouldn't say like it was basically like per village, like the village.
The guys in the end.
The guys in
will link up here.
Yeah, they would link up here and have their own like meetings and look at how they can better back home, like whether it's sorting out like boreholes for water or this, that, and the other, the roads and this, that, and the other. But like my dad was one of the, I guess, early people from, I guess, his circle to come out from Nigeria to come here, innit? So effectively our house was the halfway house where all the uncles and stuff. So
for example, someone wants to come from Finland or someone's come from like, so they'll come and bake off of your house and they'll fly out.
Before they set themselves up.
I know you accumulate.
Before they set themselves up, like that's what our house was. Not necessarily to like complete strangers or anything like that. It was like immediate family, his cousins, his nephews, nieces, whatever the case is. Like this is where they'll stop before they'll go and find themselves. Whether they're going back to Nigeria with what they've earned or, you know, set up or gone to school, whether they're going to America or whether they're going to stay in the UK. Like that, like my dad was that person sort of thing, innit? And yeah, he is held in high regard amongst his, I guess, peers, his friends, and in the family and stuff like that. But that never turned him into being like a narcissist or what I say goes or anything like that. I guess kind of going back a bit in what we were discussing earlier, my dad is a big "I told you so" merchant. He is big. Like,
I think that's with every single African parent. As in, when you mean I told you, it's like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. I told you.
Yeah, like, but like it's. I guess in that sense, it's worse in the case of, because if you chose to go and do something like, you know, if you go to uni and you go and do a course, especially for these people that you like family that were coming in or whatever, you go and do a course that didn't bang, hasn't landed you a job, you haven't set up, you're still here, kind of doing just cash in hand job or whatever the case is, like. I told you so. Like, which is quite a negative.
That's tough. That's tough.
Harsh reality. It's tough love, isn't it? Like, but I feel like he would come and it's like, if you're gonna live in my house, I'm gonna give you the play. I'm gonna tell you this is how you're gonna, you know, the blueprint of how you're gonna settle in this country, sort of thing, innit? And if you chose to do something outside of the blueprint,
I told you so.
I told you so. Yeah. So. Yeah, that could be like quite a negative thing, but I wouldn't go as far to say as narcissism or anything like that.
That word and my father does not.
Yeah, it's two completely different things.
Yeah. It's given Twitter.
It's
given Twitter, bro.
It's given X.
It's given shade, bro.
Yeah. Like I don't know. Like I didn't get that from my dad at all. And again, I can only speak for myself. I don't know, maybe your siblings, they might have a different opinion. Or even like, our mothers could have an opinion on who this person was to them, innit? Yeah, but to me, I never smelt anything like that, I don't think.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
How do we parent with intention? Like, as parents, obviously we've spoken about, being a narcissist and stuff, that's obviously far gone, but how do we parent with intention?
I think at this point, so it's knowing how you want to parent. I think we talked about that before in terms of just making sure you're not living your parents' parenting techniques pushing that onto your kids. And like you said, we both kind of mixed our cultures in the where we've got married sort of thing. So making sure, like,
they got the best of both worlds, best of three worlds. Because obviously you're before everything, we're English, we're British, we're born and bred here, and then we have our African heritage and our Caribbean heritage. So just trying to mix all the three, but making sure that they know that at the end of the day, bro, you're black and you're African and you're Caribbean.
Yeah.
So that's always going to be sticking out as a sore thumb. So, like,
side note, do your sons know that they're black?
Yes. And I was so happy when they told me that.
Okay. When did they kind of realize
that?
That?
I was asking them. What did I say? I said, "Oh, who are your friends in school?" And it's like, "Oh, one of my friends is white. One of my friends." I was like, "Huh?" I said, "What? So wait, you don't."
Wait, you crashed out because you're
not crashed out. I was like, "Oh, so you know that? That's sick."
Okay.
So you know that they're white. You know that they're like, Then I was like, "What are you then?" Because I'm black.
Okay.
So I was like, "Oh, sick. So you know that you're black then?" But they don't know. I don't think they know that they're black, but I don't think they know the struggle of, like, the things that's behind it. Like,
yeah.
Obviously, that's gonna come in the long run, innit? But they know they're black. Even like, for example, like wrestling toys, they're always gonna grab hold of a Bobby Lashley before a John Cena.
Okay.
Or a who was it they were fighting over the other day? The Old Rock, the Nation Domination. They want that before another toy, innit? So they know, man. They know. Even Miles Morales, bro. Miles Morales is he black or is he? Is he mixed?
Yeah.
He's black, so they know they can gravitate towards that. So they're always trying to watch Spider-Man across the multiverse.
Yeah.
What about your son? Did you know?
There was an interesting conversation that came up, and this might have been a year ago now, or maybe 18 months ago, where it's almost like he's just, I don't know if he knew that he's a black person or whatever.
What did he say? What did he say?
I can't remember. So I don't want to like add Maggie to the story because I can't really remember. But then obviously my missus spoke life into him, was just like, "Oh, you've got beautiful black skin and everything like that." And like now he knows, and I guess he has a good mix of friends at school as well. But like, I guess the ones that he hangs out with, when you kind of organize with a parent, or let's meet up and do this, are the black ones.
Yeah.
But this was about 18 months ago now. Something happened, and I remember like him not really being sure that even like maybe color was a thing.
Yeah.
Like, yes, he can see that we are darker and this person's white or whatever. But it's like, I don't know if he thought that we were just all the same or whatever, all from the same place.
Yeah.
But we've put that right.
Now, I think it needs to be, man. It needs to be put right, because, like, let's be honest, man. In school, black kids are treated different from white kids from ground up, man. Like, a kid could do something, and even I don't think it's her fault. And my son is like this. Like, the other day I went parents' evening, and my son's teacher was like, sometimes you can be a bit aggressive. Like, and I know that he can do that. But I was thinking, then it clicked. Something when it clicked, I was like, shit, they're gonna call this kid a black kid. That title is crazy.
Yeah. And this is the thing, when they use the word aggressive.
I don't think they mean aggressive as in like he's gonna rip man's head off, but it's like more of like the tempo with him compared to other kids is very different. So I was shit, man.
As long as the other kid that he's playing with
is also aggressive.
But if he's aggressive and you describe him to his parents as aggressive as well, there's no problem.
Yeah, it's not, of course.
But if you're calling my son aggressive and then saying that, Timmy, he plays a bit rough sometimes, or you use some other kind of word that's not so aggressive, then it's like,
I know that when my younger son plays, he can be a bit too much. Like, I've seen him like drag my oldest one from the head, just throw him on the floor. I'm like, bro, relax, man. See him do a leg drop from the bed. So I can tell that he can be that sometimes. But when she said it, I was just like, shit. I need probably to fix this because not to fix it, but maybe I need to probably say when you're playing with other people's kids, when you're playing with other kids, just they're not like your older brother. Just calm down a bit and just
I don't think it's aggressive. Rough, yes. Rough is probably the word. Like, because again, I know how I was with my brother and my cousins and how we played. We were rough with how we played, even though we were never trying to hurt each other. Aggression is I'm trying to necessarily hurt. I'm trying to hurt.
Malicious intent.
Malicious intent, exactly. So it's probably it's probably boys being
boys. Yeah, like, of course. I always see it as that, man. Like, even at school, my son comes back from school and he tells me, "Oh, this happened at school." I'm like, "Were they playing the same thing as well?" Yes. Okay, then you guys are not say having fun, but you guys are playing. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. You guys are playing, man. So yeah. But obviously in school, there's certain kids that like look at them like, you don't want any sort of, like, that he's probably going to be more aggressive than him. So you kind of like, even in the playground, you go to a playground and see certain kids and you're like, I don't want this kid to hurt my kid. So you kind of move them away from your kids. So yeah.
Yeah, we've had to do something like that on.
Not on a routine, but the thing was like, I don't want any altercation.
Yeah, just we told our son, don't play with that guy. Yeah. Like, because you'll come back and tell us, this kid done this, this kid done this. Yeah. I'm now telling you, don't play with him. Otherwise, this cycle will continue, sort of thing. In terms of like parenting with intention, I think, like we said, like leading with or leading by example, I think is important, sort of thing. Like we were mentioning this before, like we can't be here effing and blinding around our house and then you want a story, yeah? So one morning I was getting my son ready for school, and I was watching wrestling. I was watching AEW. Yeah. And Edge said, this is when Christian and Edge, I think they had first met back in the ring in AEW. And when Christian and Edge went for a hug, if you remember, and Christian went into the mic and said, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Did he actually say F yourself on TV?
Yeah, they bleeped it. They bleeped it, but I think they bleeped it afterwards. So they played it out loud. On the feed I was watching it on, they played it out loud. Christian said to Edge, go fuck yourself. Seconds later, right? Rosie says, all right, Josiah, come downstairs, get your shoes on, go fuck yourself. We were like, what? Like, I said to Rose, I'm so sorry. Like, he's literally just heard this. And I played it for her to see. Seconds later.
Kids are sponges, man.
And this is when, we began to know around that time anyway. This was 2023 maybe. Yeah. We began to know around that time we can't just be saying anything around this kid anymore, innit? Yeah. But that was stone cold confirmation that we cannot say anything around this kid anymore. Like, they will copy you. So even leading by example is important.
I was saying on last episode, like music wise, like there's certain music I can't listen to. Like if I'm gonna play, it has to be clean. So majority of the time, I'm always trying to play Anita Baker because Anita Baker don't say anything crazy, or even like if I'm playing like a scissor song, I'll make sure there's nothing sexual, nothing too sexual, or like even there's a song, Thing's new song, Darko, Focus on Me. Yeah. So I don't know, I don't want my kids saying sexy or even like that because I feel like that's a bit, it's above their pay grade.
It's above
sexy or anything that's to do with like anything that's grown. I don't want to say it. So like they were playing it and after my son was just singing along to it. I was like, I don't think this is the right song for you to be singing along to, bro. So like, just trying to play certain things so they don't repeat it, man. Even like the other day I said that my son said fired. He said, you're fired. I said, where'd you learn that from? You're fired. I said, bro, he learned it from Dogman. I'm like, bro, like, I don't know if, are you meant to be watching this stuff? Like, come on. But just trying to play right stuff, man. And but like at the end of the day, they're kids. They're gonna pick up stuff. Like, I think even in America, my son was singing Tyler Water, and I was like, don't be singing that song because you don't know what that song means.
But this is the thing, like sometimes you leave them in their innocence. Like sometimes don't answer. Like the other day, my son was asking me, Dad, what does sexy mean?
See?
He's like, what does sexy mean? What does sexy mean? He asked me like 3 occasions. I was just airing him.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, like I don't want to necessarily I don't want to tell him or kind of put that.
Or you can say, it's an adult word. It's a word for adults.
Like I don't want to at the same time then say, you shouldn't be saying that.
Yeah.
Because then kids, they'll start saying it. Because you told them it's a naughty thing, So I just chose to ignore him on that situation. And I don't know, maybe we'll circle back to him on that. But what about patience? Because I feel like in my relationship, I'm the patient one.
I'm running out of patience, bro. I've run out of patience, bro. And I used to be so patient back in the day. But I feel like for my kids sometimes, like, what was it the other day, man? Like, it kind of annoyed me. And I had to grab him and stand in the kitchen and make him stand up and watch me. Because I do this punishment where, not a punishment, but I make him stand up and just time out, but he's looking in my eyes. And yeah, I'm talking to him, just looking to my eyes, looking to my eyes, looking to my eyes. Or I'll make him stand on top of the kitchen counter and he's looking at me. Because I want him to like see how bad it looked. Yeah. And tell him about himself, and obviously like in a positive manner. So I was they were playing around and I was on the call or stuff like. No, I was doing work, playing around, and he had his phonics book and he smacked it on the oldest son's head. I was like, don't do it. If you do that again, I'm gonna take you out. The guy looks at me, walks again, and smacks it whilst looking at me like,
no way.
I said, come with me. So I grabbed him, took him to the kitchen. He was crying, his eyes out, bawling. I was like, listen, I want you to listen to me. I just want you to respect and just honor what I'm saying, because if you do that, like, it's not good. How do you think the older brother feels? He goes, oh, he feels sad. I was like, yeah, I feel sad too. Just like, come on, listen to me, bro. And obviously went back and just listened. But just, bro, I'm losing. I never used to lose patience like that, man. I would just say, cool, that's calm. Even just saying, come here, and then they're watching TV like that. Come here. Like, bro.
TV's a killer. Like, TV
we've even like cut down TV a bit. Like, we don't want them watching too much TV because, bro, they turn to zombies, man.
Literally that. Like, Rosie is obviously with the kids, like, more, like, day to day, and, but, like, so I can understand sometimes having a TV, short fuse and stuff like that, and then giving them TV as a means to give them something to do. I try to be fair. Like, I'm not into the hitting and all of that. I'm not really.
Unless I think for me, if it's extreme, like spare the rod or spoil the child, I believe in it, because there's a certain point where if they've done something that's like crazy level, bro, and I'm like, what? Nah, you gotta get a little spank. A lot of people say, oh, I don't want to hit my kids, but they, like, as parents, we're human beings. We're gonna have a switch that's gonna turn off one day. We're just gonna go. Not saying I'm gonna bang my kid and go bah, 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 but you want to tell them like, yo, can't do that. Like a little spank like that. So
I might flick his ear or something like that. Or more time now, I'm telling Mrs. like, just tell him to go to his room. Like, I'll put him in his room, put him for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, depending on the
time
offense.
Time out,
exactly. Yeah. And then I'll come up to the room and I'll talk him through.
I'll tell him the reason why you're here.
That's the first one I always ask him. Do you know why you're here? Yeah. Because if you just think like, oh no, I don't know why I'm here. Like, bro, you're wasting my breath. I'm telling you to do something, you're not listening. Always explain to him, always let him know. And then at least for the following couple of hours or whatever, they're on best behavior. They get it. You see what I mean?
I hope they do. I was always saying, bro, I hope you understand what I'm trying to get at, because if you don't, we're gonna have to do this all over again.
Yeah. And you make that known to them as well, sort of thing. Like, but I don't think there's been obviously a couple of instances you might give them a little tap here and there, like you're saying, but it's the same. It's trying to find that middle ground and not rule how, like, I know my dad was just like, what were you doing? Hand will come out or slipper. Man will curve the slipper around the door. You can leave the room. Boomerang thing, like around the door. Like, my dad used to collect them McDonald's balloons.
Oh, the balloon things, yeah.
Lashes, balloon sticks. Yeah, lashes, that was my dad's thing. And just when you think you had got rid of a batch, you had some hidden in some other place in the house. So I'm trying to steer away from that kind of discipline.
Or even like
through stuff.
I can't lie, it helps a lot of man in London though, like with I think even back home, the punishment of like holding like eggs or squat position or something like that. I can't lie, I've done that one time, Oh fam. I can't lie, that's why I got big version. But I had to do this, squats like that for time, bro. Because I went football training, my first football training, I didn't tell my mum. So my mum was looking for me around the whole of Custom House, bro. I got home, I went Saturday school. Saturday school was at like 8 a.m. So I came back home at 6 p.m. My mum was livid, bro. She said that she's gone to all my aunties. At this time I don't have phone. We don't have phone. Your mum would have to like actually go out.
Lost.
I'm lost. I'm missing.
You're missing.
Put me in a picture, fam. I'm missing. So like when I got home, when I got home, my little brother was like, ooh, you're in trouble. And he's behind me he's walking me to the judge, bro. So I turn the corner, I see my mum in the kitchen like this. She goes, Like, you've really troubled me today. I thought you was gone. Stand there and do this. Come on. What? Bro, I was doing it for time, bro. I can have Fresh Prince playing in the kitchen, in the sitting room, bro. But yeah, I don't think I've got to that stage yet. I don't think I will get to that stage.
Yeah. No, it's a middle ground between beating and you know, giving them like a timeout or something. Give them all of them kind of awkward things that our parents used to do. But yeah.
But sometimes, I'll be real, like, not to come across as this like crazy parent, but sometimes shouting is not enough. Shouting is not enough. Beating's not enough. It's more of a thing of like sometimes just looking at them and talking to them and giving them, like, you know, like I said, being present with them at that moment and say, listen, what's this about, man? Like, why did you do that for?
Speaking to them like a human being, and it's almost coming off that parent level and just being like, you've disappointed. I'll never ever forget the day I got suspended from school. I got suspended in year 7,
and the chat with your parents, in it.
And so I went to my first 2 years of secondary school. I went to a boarding school.
You told me this?
Yeah, I went to boarding school in like Reading. And again, this is my parents not knowing. One of my godfather, their kids went to this school. So it's just like, oh, it's a good school, send your kids there. And my parents just kind of following suit. They don't know better, I guess, in the country or whatever. I'm the guinea pig. I'm the firstborn. So, you know, it's like they're trying all these new stuff with you.
Yeah.
So I got suspended, got trained back that night to Paddington. My dad came and picked me up from Paddington, drove home to Tottenham. Dead silent. The car was dead silent. Like, I got home. They put me in like the spare box room in my house, away from my bedroom with my brother. Literally like a flipping prison.
I got picked up from another job to go to another job.
Mate, I was on a wing at home.
Yeah, trust me, fam.
And my mom just poked her head in when I was just taking off my stuff and just changing into my pajamas or whatever, house clothes for that night. And my mom just came in and just like, you've disappointed me, you've disappointed us. And my mum burst into tears and left the room. That one lives with me forever because it's like, you know how you made someone feel, sort of thing. This wasn't part of the plan. This wasn't part of the project. You've just really messed up here now. And again, it's probably them thinking, this is my first son. He's been suspended. What are the rest of these lot going to end up like? What kind of example is this, sort of thing? But what I was going to get onto is that they showed love, they showed understanding. The next day, we spoke through what happened, how, bruv, behavior has to change. Behavior has to change. Otherwise, this is going to be a pattern in life. It won't be suspended from school. It might be an actual jail cell.
That you go into,
like you can't be misbehaving like this. So, I think it's showing love as well in your parenting, like. And how many times, like, I don't know, did you ever speak to your dad about sex, your sexual endeavors?
No.
That birds and the bees, did that ever come to any conversation?
I had to learn myself. I'll be real with you, at home, my parents weren't as like, they weren't like visually romantic, but you could tell that they're romantic anyway because they had 5 kids. So it's crazy. You knew what they got, you knew what they were on, but they didn't show you what they were on. So
when the kids were away, the parents came out to play.
So like I never I had to learn for myself. And even like I remember like even the first time like I actually done my thing, and after I was like, what the hell? I didn't know this was meant to happen. I was like, where the hell did this go from? Because this time I've never watched any Zone, nothing like that. So when I done, I was like, what? Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. And you know what's mad, yeah? You feel like someone's dragged you back like this. So I didn't know. I had to learn that stuff myself, innit?
Yeah.
So it was just that, man. And obviously, as I got older, my parents were teaching me more about like kids and how it's gonna look and different techniques to like, you know, make the kid come faster in terms of pregnancy. Like, for example, having sex when you're pregnant opens. It does. I think it loosens up the bag or something like that. My mom told me that, But yeah, so stuff like that I had to learn. That my mom told me that. But other than that, I never told my mom never told me about like cheating or, I said cheating, sexual intercourse or anything like that. So.
Mom never told me about
cheating. Yeah, mom never told me about that.
I remember one day my my dad must have found a condom in me and my brother's room, innit? And I think me and him were going to the laundrette later that day to just dry the clothes for the week. We parked up outside the laundrette. He just reaches into his coat pocket, pulls out the condom, and he goes, I don't know who this belongs to, you or your brother. But since you people are having sex, this is what I'll tell you. If you bring a child into this life, and you're big enough to be lying down with girls and having sex, you're big enough to be the father of that child.
Yeah, correct.
Which is correct.
Correct, yeah.
But that was my sex talk. That is where it began.
That's
and
enough.
Where it ended.
It's enough. It's enough.
Yes, a word to the wise is enough,
Yeah,
as they say.
But
enough. Like that was it. Yeah. So literally, when you talked about, you're doing your thing and you have that first sensation that you didn't know, like same way. I didn't know what that was. Yeah. I was wondering what the hell my leg was shaking. I had no idea what that was because there's no one to. They don't want to talk about it. Yeah. They don't want to talk you.
Especially at Sunday school. We used to go Sunday school, right? Sunday school would be like, the teachers would be like, "Oh, don't be having girlfriend or boyfriend and girlfriend. Don't be doing this. This is wrong. This is all that sort of stuff. It's wrong." But it's like when they're saying that, it's like you're already at fear of actually having doing what you doing the job, the deed, innit? So like, I feel like I said, it was enough. Seeing and hearing and all that sort of stuff was enough for me.
Yeah,
and I had to figure out myself, and I'm happy that I figured out myself.
Yeah. It's I guess, but I think more so it's the relationship. You want to be comfortable enough to have that conversation, or even your dad to be comfortable enough to come and initiate that conversation, innit? Like, and I feel like that's one of the things.
I'll probably have a chat with my son about that.
Yeah, exactly. Because, but you're doing it from a place of you never had that chat. You had to maybe experience some of these things, and although you said you got on all right, you were fine. You have to look at your child and assess like, if this guy's always hanging around girls and this and the other, I better have this chat now.
Before something comes up. Yeah.
Same way if you see your daughter and she's always, has male company around her, you better talk and just let her know. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, hey, episode 2 in the books.
Yeah, it's been a good one. Everyone in the chat, let us know down below in the comments about like your dad and maybe things you had to heal from. Heal from your parenthood, or things you experienced as a child, man. Let's chop it up.
On Spotify, there's a comment section now, so you can actually write comments in there, which is sick. So guys, drop a message there, man. We'll get back to you in the next episode, hopefully. But yeah, man, another episode done. Episode 2 of the Dadicated podcast. Peace.